crush David with a simple stomp of a foot. But he didn't. He didn't. David beat him. Why? Because Goliath thought too much of himself. Goliath was a giant. He said, I can't be beat. You can't beat me, David. But David did it. And then I thought, humble, gentle, unbending. And one of my favorite people throughout history is Martin Luther King Jr. He was a type of person in history who fought the battles. He fought the battles that nobody else would fight. But you didn't see him on the front page of the newspaper saying, I want the glory. He didn't say, hey, me, I'm doing it. He did it. He didn't fight the battles for just him or just the blacks. He fought the battles for everybody. Richmond has been fighting those same battles for many years. Maybe not the civil rights battles, but they have been fighting the battles for everybody. For those who need to be in here, who are not, who are the lost sheep. Build me a church whose wishes will not take the place of deeds. A church who will know thee, who is the foundation stone of knowledge. Lead them, I pray, not in the path of ease and comfort, but under the stress and spur of difficulties and challenges. Those of you who have been here for a long time, and there's a lot of you, know the many challenges and difficulties that Richmond has faced. Some of them are difficulties that nobody else has ever faced. You know the path that Richmond has taken to get to this point tonight. One of my favorite poems, and actually one of my favorite poets, is Robert Frost. And in his poem, The Road Less Traveled, the character comes up to a junction in the path. Off to one side is a path that's been traveled a lot. It's easy, it's smooth, it's been trampled down. The character could very easily take that path and go on down that way and probably get to the destination. And now off to the other way is a path that hasn't been traveled. It's got a lot of rocks. It's got a lot of ruts. Now, it's not an easy path to go. And he's got a decision to make. Richmond came to that point in that path, and they had a decision to make. They could have taken the easy path. But they didn't. They took the path that was less traveled. The same as the character in the poem. Because the path isn't always easy. We're not promised that the path is going to be easy. We're just promised that in the end, the reward is going to be worth the travel. No matter how rough the path is, the reward's worth the travel. A TV show that I don't watch too often, but come to mind, is The Biggest Loser. And when I think about challenges, I think about somebody who's trying to transform their life. And these are people who they're not just trying to lose weight, they're trying to transform their life. They're trying to make themselves a better person. It's a difficult It's difficult. Have you ever tried to change yourself? Have you ever tried to say, hey, you know what? I need to change. I did it. I did it. And it wasn't easy to do. It was very hard to do. If you know my wife, ask her. She'll tell you. She'll tell you how it wasn't easy to do. Richmond has had to make those decisions. They had to make decisions that weren't easy. But you know what? God brought them through it. They're here today because they made those choices. They made those decisions. They said, you know what? The work here is more important than anything else. What we're doing here is more important than anything. Because God's work is what's important. The Lord's work is what is important. We're told to go forth and make disciples of all nations. We're commanded. That's what we're to do. I mean, it's cut and dry. You know? Before Christ ascended, He told the 12, go forth and make disciples. Guess what? He wasn't talking about just them. He was talking about us too. Because the victory is not just for us. It's not just for a select few who decide to get baptized. It's for everybody. Because we should be getting everybody in that baptism. That's what our job is. When we proclaim the victory, we need to proclaim the victory loud enough that they hear it out there. Excuse me for just a second. We need to be loud enough that they hear beyond our walls. We should proclaim the victory loud enough that the people in Richmond can hear it and they come here. Here, let me learn to stand up to the storm. Here, let them learn compassion for those who fail. Build me a church whose heart will be clear, whose goal will be high, a church who will master themselves before they seek to master other men. One who will reach into the future, yet never forget the past. Like I said, we weren't promised a path without a storm. We weren't promised that it'll be smooth sailing. It's going to be rocky seas. It's just the way it is. But we were promised one thing. We were promised that He will never leave us. He is our anchor. As long as we have faith. Richmond has had that faith. They have been that anchor for other people. Christ has been their anchor, and in turn they've said, you know what? We're going to be the anchor for everybody else. We're going to be that anchor for our community. We're going to reach out. We're going to say, you know what? Come on in. Give me your bruised and broken heart. Come on in. The greatest commandment of all is that we love each other. You know, the rest of them are pretty important. But when Christ was asked, which one is the greatest? He said, to love each other. That's the greatest commandment. When we have compassion, love the ones we want to. or the ones that are easy to love? We love them all. Mahatma Gandhi says, love the sinner, hate the sin. We're supposed to love them. That doesn't mean we agree with what they're doing, but we love them. Richmond does that. They do that all the time. Cripes, they took my wife and my family in. And believe me, sometimes Sally Sally wonders, oh, what did I do? In 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 58, wherefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast and unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not vain. Don't give up. How many times would it have been easy for Richmond to just say, you know what? We quit. There have been some times in the history that Richmond, it probably would have been easier to just say, you know what? We quit. We give up. But they didn't. Because it was too important. The work was too important. They persevered. They continued on. There is a phrase in the military, to continue the mission was to Charlie Mike. CM. C being Charlie, M being Mike. They continued the mission. They continued. The battle isn't easy. The little battles aren't going to be easy. The war was won, but that doesn't mean we're not going to have battles along the way. Satan didn't give up. When Christ was crucified on the cross, Satan didn't say, hey, you know what, I can't win this one. I'm done. He's fighting today. But when we're fighting, when we're doing the Lord's work, it's not in vain. Because He's right beside us. He's been here. And He will continue to be here for many years to come. He will continue to be here when I'm no longer here. When my kids are no longer here. When my grandkids. He will continue to be here forever. Because He promised us that. And after all these things are theirs, add, I pray, enough of a sense of humor so that they may always be serious, but never take themselves too seriously. Give them humility so that they may always remember the simplicity of true greatness, and an open mind of true wisdom, and a meekness of true strength. My favorite part in there is the sense of humor. Because you all spend probably more time here in Richmond than I have. And you know that if there's any church that has a sense of humor, it's this one. If you don't hear laughter coming out of this church, the church is empty. Because we're always laughing. There's nothing sad about this. There's nothing... and Joanne's usually leading the pack. There's nothing sad about this. It's a joyous thing. We won. I was an athlete in high school. And whenever we won, we celebrated. We didn't, well, okay, we won. No, we celebrated. We laughed. We had fun. We enjoyed it. That's what this is about. That's what the work is about. When you claim the victory, have fun with it. Church shouldn't be something that you, like a former pastor of mine said, when you walk in the doors, suck on a lemon. Everybody looks People come in the doors, and all of a sudden we got to be quiet.